All right, good evening. It's been a minute, so welcome everyone. It's been a couple weeks since we've streamed. Fortunately, life got in the way a little bit, but happy to be back. Looks like we've got a pretty active chat right now. So we've got Apple Gal. Thank you for coming. Skull Aquatics as well, and Uncle Smileys. So thank you guys for coming and being active in the chat. So I definitely appreciate that. Applegal said, I was just watching a video on betta fish, and I found this awful video of a guy cutting the betta's fins. I reported it, but I wonder if more people can also report it. Yeah, that's not good. Hopefully that gets reported, and I don't want to put it in here. Just I don't want to give it more power than it already has, but maybe put like the channel name in chat. Like, don't put a link or anything. Maybe the channel name, I guess. So, hello, Jody. How's it going? Hello, Ed. How are you? So it's been a very interesting few weeks. So I knew the month of May was going to be kind of crazy, just with Chelsea graduating and everything. But it's been exciting. So a lot of work stuff's been going on too to kind of add to that. So I kind of knew that May was going to be a little bit of a crazy month. So, but all in all, we've getting almost to the end of it. We do have a couple more graduation events to go. First one's going to be like tomorrow night's going to be the convocation night where they get all their awards and everything, and they announce the scholarships and all that kind of stuff. So, and then the second one is going to be graduation, which is a week from Thursday. So that's going to be pretty exciting as well to see her walk across the stage. So we got to kind of get a sneak peek today earlier. The school does, like, where they get to go to walk through the halls of the school, and then they get to go back to their elementary school. So it was cool to see her in her cap and gown. Kind of surreal. It's very, very different to see it. When I was in high school, I didn't really. It was like no big deal. But like as a parent, it's definitely different being on the other side of it for sure. So one thing that you will notice is maybe the picture's a little bit different today. I did fix a lot of the technical. I do think I fixed the technical issues we were having. I actually changed the camera. So we did change this to like just a simple Logitech C920 webcam. I was running it through something different called a Cam Link, but that was, I think that was, yeah, that was definitely something that I was not really a fan of. So the Cam Link, I think, was not interacting very well with the streaming software or something, because it always worked fine with Zoom, but for whatever reason, I don't think it was interfacing well with the streaming software. So I just bought a simple Logitech camera, and I think we should be good to go. So hey, Steven, how's it going? Yes, definitely report that video. That's not right. So, unfortunately, to report it though, you have to view it, I think, and I don't, you don't want to give it power. But yeah, that's not good. So, so with that, let's kind of talk about what's been going on in the past few weeks, because there's been a lot of things that have happened, fish-wise. So some good, some bad. So I do have the barn cam set up, and we'll go ahead and go out to the barn and take a look at those. There's been some things very very good, like I said, and very bad. So I think some of the plant folks, I might actually ask what you think on something, because I had something kind of drastic happen, which was very unexpected. But I kind of need to go out there and show you that. So we'll do that in a little while. So Pebbleton Creek, it's been a member here for 4 months. Thank you very much. He says, Mike, good evening. Good evening to you as well. So speaking of that, I probably do need to give some memberships out. So we'll go ahead and do that. So so with that, fish-wise, so I gave my talk to the Southwest Michigan Aquarium Society on May 9th. That went very well. It was actually a lot of fun. I actually regretted the fact that I didn't record it. Because I knew there was recorded already, so I was like, oh, I'm not going to record it again. But it was really good because I had a couple people come from the local Detroit area who kind of knew a lot of the original G'day keepers. And so we had a pretty long conversation during that talk about like some of the people that really started the G'day hobby. And I really kind of regretted not recording that because it was very cool and very interesting information. So it's kind of giving me some ideas in the future for like some videos too, because there's a few people around here who are like not very well known, like in say like FishTube world and things like that, but are very well known and have been very influential in certain aspects of the hobby, or know people who've been very influential in aspects of the hobby. We've got a gentleman named Gary Mousseau who is in the IFG Hall of Fame, and he ran the Guppy show I was at this past weekend that we'll get to. But someone like him, I probably need to sit down with him and just do an interview. We can talk. And he knew Stan Schubel, and he's got a lot of Stan Schubel's fish. Guys like that, and then the two gentlemen that came to my G'day talk like knew Robert Rush Miller and Jim Langhammer, who was basically the father of the G'day hobby. Like those things kind of need to be documented and recorded, I think. So, so with that, talk went very well. Went a little bit long. It was like an hour and 46 minutes, which I try to keep it to an hour, but it happens, especially with the discussion, which I think really added to it. So that was a lot of fun. From that, the pond stuff has been going. Unfortunately, here the weather right now is really kind of not conducive to putting fish outside right now. Lows have still been in the 40s. I think today it was only in like the 50s. So I think it's been very not great for doing pond fish right now. I'm kind of hoping, like this weekend is generally, like Memorial Day is generally the good pond fish weekend, but it's just too cold. It's going to be like in the 60s, and even with doing G'dayids, I don't want to put them in something that cold yet. I want it to get a little bit warmer, especially since the water in the fish room is a little bit warmer as well. So definitely want to kind of keep that to a dull roar. So, but that, the Guppy show, so let's talk about that. Something I would have promoted if I'd been live for the past 2 weeks. So Michigan has a Guppy club, an IFGA sanctioned Guppy club. It's been around, I think it's been around since the 80s, he said. All right, so I haven't really been looking at the chat, but Abigail asked, the fish tank behind you is so active. I'm still a newbie. What type of fish are those? Those are called Cyprochromis, specifically Cyprochromis leptosoma blue flash. So they're an African cichlid, but they're kind of like a schooling African cichlid, so a little bit different. They don't ship very well. I would get some experience under your belt before I'd keep them, but yeah, it's definitely one that I would look into keeping for sure. So Zen said it was 95 degrees today here already, and it's only May. And then Steven said, yeah, it was so freaking hot today. Yeah, we're like unseasonably cool, and it was weird because last Friday it was 80 degrees, and I was like, I'm probably going to be okay to put fish out last weekend. And then I looked at the weather, and it was all of a sudden it went down to the 60s into the 40s again, and that's how it's been all. It's going to be all this week into this weekend, and then yeah. So I think it's going to break probably next Tuesday or Wednesday. So we're actually going to be past Memorial Day. So hopefully it stays warmer in the later on in the summer. But the weather here, and I've noticed this the past few years, there's not really a buildup. It seems like there's like one day, and then all of a sudden it's now summer. And then we'll get, towards the end of summer, and then it'll be like kind of one day, and it's like, oh, it's fall. So Davo said that tornadoes are all over the place here. We actually had a tornado warning here, And it's Michigan is not really considered like Tornado Alley or anything. I actually got woken up at it was like 12:50 in the morning. I was dead asleep, and the emergency signal on your phone goes off like from like an Amber Alert or something. It went off and woke me straight up out of bed. And I looked at it. It said tornado warning. So I was like, okay. And then I went through. Yeah, there is one that looks. Um, yeah, there is one that's a little bit got a bent fin in the back, and that's actually not even a cyprochromis. That is a. Um, oh, I was butcher the name. I have it labeled downstairs or in the barn, so I'll let you know what that is. But that's not a sip. That's actually something else. And that's the only one that's left. I bought the group of those years ago at the OCA and put them in there with the sips, and they all kind of eventually died out except for that one with the bent tail on it. So he just kind of lives his days out in there, and he doesn't seem to bother anything, and he seems to be fine. So he's just kind of living his days out there. So, and I don't see any reason to cull him because he's eating and it's not affecting his life at all, and he's just kind of doing his thing. So, but back to the tornado warning. So it woke me up like 1 o'clock in the morning. It went till like 1:15, and I had this debate because no one else woke up. Like no one else, and my wife didn't wake up. The kids didn't wake up, and so I went and sat outside on the couch, kind of deciding what I was going to do. So am I going to go ahead and like wake everyone up and have them be kind of irritated with me for getting them all out of bed, or do I wait? And so I decided to wait until if I heard the tornado sirens go off like from the city, then I was going to be like, okay, we need to go downstairs. But yeah, I was just kind of like, and so there ended up not being a tornado. Obviously the sirens didn't go off, so I kind of like waited. And maybe that was good, maybe that was bad, I don't know. But so there was no tornado, so we ended up going downstairs, or I kind of waited for a while, kind of checked on the internet, and it kind of was like, hey, it's all clear, so I went back to bed. But yeah, my daughter heard it. One of my daughters didn't hear it at all. My wife didn't hear it either, and then one of my other daughters heard it. Chelsea heard it, and she was like, "Hey," she just kind of looked at it, rolled over, and went back to bed. So yeah. So with that, so we're back to kind of the Guppy show. So they run this Guppy show every year in May, and I've been meaning to go for like the last 3 or 4 years, but something has always gotten in the way. Like volleyball, most of the time, as there was a tournament that weekend. So this weekend I got the chance to go back. If you go way back in the channel, there's a video from like 2019 where I went to the Guppy show and filmed all the Guppies. The video quality on that video was not very good. I wasn't well versed at filming fish shows at the time, and fish shows honestly are very hard to film. Just because of glares, and a lot of times they're not lit. So when you try to put a light on the fish, like they all start going kind of crazy because you just lit them up from the dark. But this was very nice because the venue had very good lighting. So all the tanks were lit up very nicely so you could see the fish. There's amazing guppies there. They had over 400 entries. So what happens with that is a lot of people will mail their entries in. People like attending the convention itself was actually very small. It was maybe, there was maybe even at the auction towards the end where people kind of came in and you could bid on stuff. There was maybe 15 people there, 20 at most. But there was some really amazing fish there. And then when we go into the barn today, I'll show you the guppies that I picked up. There's going to be a couple of videos on it. One kind of talking about the convention. And then I went through and I actually documented the fish show pretty well. So you can see all the fish in all the show classes. Because there's some really amazing fish in there. Some guppies that like I've never really seen before other than there. And a lot of those guys don't sell those ones. They sort of just go back to the people who bred them. So I do kind of wish like they would sell more of them. Because there are some amazing fish. But it seems to be a very small community. But they are very serious about their fish. So So with that, I think what I'll do now is we'll go ahead and we'll play the game. If you guys don't remember, we'll go ahead and we'll just do the fish game real quick. And it's been a couple weeks. I had her do this a couple weeks ago, so we'll check out what's going on with that. So I don't really know exactly like what she ranked them anymore, because like I said, I put this together a couple weeks ago. So I did add a wrinkle to it. I added a type of fish I used to keep. So let's flip the screen over and we'll go ahead and get going. So, all right. So, are they basic? So this is a game basically like that I play with my daughter. She's usually, she's a non-fish keeper. So anyone who's new, she doesn't really keep fish. So this kind of gives you an eye basically into the beauty of fish from a, whoa, that looks really weird. Hold on. We got to make an adjustment. That's really weird. Hold on 1 second. One thing I didn't check. Give me 1 second here, guys. I made an error. We can't do it while we're live. All right. Sorry about this, guys. Let me 1 second here. Let me. All right, I sort of fixed it, so sorry about that. When I changed the camera, I didn't realize that I didn't do the that would affect that. So yeah, so we'll go ahead and we whatever fix it. You're not gonna have any music tonight though, just because I don't have the I didn't change it on the other scene, so we'll just go without music tonight. I think we'll be fine. So with that, so are they basic? Like I said, just taking a look at what my daughter's, what my daughter's view on all my fish are. So she ranks them basically between 1 to 10. 1 being very basic, 10 being cool. And then I'll give you a few minutes to decide, and then I'll go ahead and I'll flip it over and I'll let you see what's going on. So let's start out here with the this fish. This is the Geophagus. This was not 1 miller, Altifrons. Geophagus altifrons. So one that I used to have in here, it was in the 245 gallon tank. So 6, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5. Give it a couple more minutes for anyone else. I should find some like Jeopardy music to put on with this when I fix that scene. So Scotty the Fish Freak's got 3. Very mid, yes. Yep, give it another couple minutes, couple seconds here. All right, going once, going twice, Sold 6 out of 10. So, like Steven said, very mid. That's kind of where I thought she would have ranked these. They look a lot better in person, I think, when you can capture all the sheens and everything. You can see all the sheens and everything. So, but very nice fish. But yeah, she gave it 6 out of 10. I actually took these to New York to a fish show. When they used to have the aquatic experience, I got talked into entering the fish show. So I put one of these in one of the Home Depot kind of containers, and I drove it all the way to New York and entered it into the fish show. So with that, let's go ahead and do the next one. Bengai cardinal fish. So that is actually a picture that I took many, many years ago when I had a Bengai cardinal fish that was holding. That was when I used to do the saltwater breeding stuff long before I was on YouTube. So so that is a holding female Bengai cardinal fish, which I got to spawn and I got the fry to raise up. And I was actually really mad because I ended up losing the fry before I got to 60 days and was able to claim them for points. So it's not the best picture in the world. And I wasn't even going to try to take the background out of this because I just think it would have just gone a little bit, which I think it would have just gone haywire. So I figured this one I just kind of put the picture over top of it, and we just went with it. So I don't even know what I took that with. I think I took it with like a potato phone or something. So, but when we did the saltwater breeding program, you had to provide like documentation and stuff. So Scotty says we have a ton of these at work. Yeah, they're actually pretty endangered in the wild. There's a book written probably about a decade ago or so that I have floating around here somewhere that talks about like breeding and raising and the environment and everything for the Bengai cardinal fish. So there was a fish store that had these like living in like their big live rock tanks too, and they would spawn all the time and stuff too. So it's kind of cool. So, but you can give it another second or two for the ranking, and we'll see what she ranked this one. That one she gave that one a 10 out of 10, which I thought was kind of surprising because it's kind of cool, but it's kind of basic too. It's just black and white. So, obviously, I don't think the picture does this justice, but like I wish I would have had like this egg tumbler back when I was playing with this, so that I could just throw the eggs in as this egg tumbler, because I would have like stripped them and put them in an egg tumbler and just been kind of done with it. So, yeah, the pajama cardinals are cool too. There's a bunch of different cardinals actually. There's a red one too. I don't remember what it's called now. And then there's like a huge one too. There's one that's like yay big too. I don't remember what that one's called either. But there's one that gets really, really big. So, yeah, I didn't think she'd give it a 10 either just because of the color. But she surprises us sometimes. All right, next one up, Tiger Teddy. So, another one of my favorites. So. What you guys think of the old Tiger Teddy? So we got Skull with 7, Zen Ginger with 5. Steven's got 3. Applegal's got 5. Scotty's got 7. Uncle Smiley's got 4. So So Christopher D. House says the Tiger Teddies look awesome. They do. They are an absolute utter pain in the neck to film because they're so tiny. So that's one thing I don't like about them. So while you guys um, are talking, I will say, speaking of books, I did buy the book from Dr. Ted, the Pond Tub Handbook. Kind of driven by my desire to find some plants that would work in ponds, since I really struggled with finding plants, because no one here has them. I actually did find some at a local fish store. So if the sun's out when we go outside, we'll go ahead and take a look at those. So, I've gotten babies. They just seem to peter out on me after a while. So, I think I've even bapped them for the club. I think I did. Yeah, I did bap them. I'm almost 100% sure that I bapped them for the club. Um, but they live for like 6 months to a year, and then they just sort of like disappear one day. So I actually did manage to pull that off, but they kind of didn't last very long. So we'll give it another second or two here, if you want to get any last minute guesses in. And but yeah, they're kind of interesting because they're like super fetaceous, so they don't drop fry like in a bunch every 30 days. They drop like one or two a week. So you got to kind of wait them out. Yes, bapped is a verb. You can use that as a verb. So speaking of that too, this is going to be the first year that I'm probably not going to get an award at the fish show, or our fish club, because I've been lazy and I haven't written articles and I haven't brought enough stuff this year. So I think this is the first year since I've been in the club that I've not gotten any sort of award. So with Tiger Teddy, she ranked 5 out of 10. Yeah, which is kind of, and the only reason is I've been lazy. I just haven't done any. I haven't done any articles, and they're easy for me to do. I just haven't found the time to do them. So, and then I've kind of run out of stuff to breed too, because there's some things like I want to keep due to just because they're so rare. I want to keep them in the hobby as kind of like an arc, I guess. And I've gotten enough of those now to where I really don't want to get rid of them and have something else in it, switch them out to breed different things. So, and the second thing too is, since I've gotten the master breeder, I've kind of done what I've wanted to do. So I've kind of switched the focus a little bit too in the barn to like breeding more of certain fish. So like if I wanted to sell fish at a swap or something, I want to have at least a few of the species where I'm breeding them constantly so that I can, maybe get them out to some other folks. So, so with that, let's do the Emperor Tetra. I think that's an Emperor Tetra. So, all right, so you got Zen's got 9, Jody's got 7, Applegal's got 9, Davo's got 4. So it's kind of like betting $1 on Price is Right. Scotty the Fish Freak's got 7. Skull's got 5. Uncle Smiley has 6. Yeah, this is a very pretty fish. Now, I don't know where the site I got, if it's been like doctored up at all, but yeah, it's definitely pretty. Steven's got 8. So Christopher D. House, so welcome to the stream. So thank you for coming along. I recognize a lot, can't talk. I recognize a lot of names from Dan's Fish. Always excited to hear and discuss fish. Yes. Yeah, I think there's a lot of folks that are kind of traveling around to different streams, but thank you for being here. I haven't watched Dan's in a while. I don't know why. I've just been lazy. Like I haven't watched a lot of fish streams in a while, actually. I've kind of gone into summer mode where I've been kind of just not spending a lot of time down here in the basement watching streams and stuff, unfortunately. But I need to get back on the train a little bit. Yeah, even the fish room too. The fish room is not in the best shape right now, as you'll see when we go in there. And I think I'm going to spend some time Memorial Day weekend this weekend, kind of get it back into shape a little bit. Like I said earlier, May's been a busy month with all the graduation stuff and kind of the other happenings that have been going on. So need to spend a little time in there, get some things cleaned up a little bit. But I think we all get there. I think kind of the beauty of the fish barn and kind of the way it's designed is you can have those stretches where it's like you're, say, not as into it for whatever reason, and it still kind of runs itself. And in general, things do fine, and it just kind of keeps on going. So I know that's kind of a bad news story, but there's some good news in there too, actually. There's been some things that have bred that I haven't shown you. So give it another second here on the Emperor Tetra. Going once, going twice. Sold 9 out of 10. So Zen got it again. So Zen's very good at reading her mind. Applegal got it, and Steven was very close. So, all right, I think there's one more. And the last one here, Frontosa. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So Zen, that's funny. Uh, Zen says, like I have the mind of a 17-year-old girl, which tracks honestly. Yeah, maybe I would have talked her into reading these off tonight, but she's at work. So she works at Hollister, and she doesn't have school anymore. So she's kind of an adult now, just doing her thing. So she's she's at Hollister tonight, selling clothes and doing whatever. Definitely not. Store is definitely not my vibe. So, but it's a very, very good teenage girl type store. So, we got Davo's got 7, Steven's got 3, Zen's got 6, Uncle Smiley has 6. Give it a couple minutes here while I kind of ramble on. I think what else has been going on while we're waiting. That's kind of been it. It's been. I think we covered everything. Got the Guppy show. I covered my talk. Covered the barn. Yeah, like I was very surprised. The one thing I was surprised with, since I set my tubs up early this year, was the lack of plants. Like I was shocked that like no one had plants. Like other than like one fish store, he's like, yeah, I've got plants. And if it's light enough, I think it should be. If it's light enough when we go outside, I think we can see that actually I had a water hyacinth that actually flowered. So give it another second or two on this. Jody P came in late with a 5. And so the Frontosa is a 7, which Skull got. And so did Davo. So, and Applegal. So, awesome. All right, so let me flip myself back on here, and we'll get ready to go outside to the barn and just kind of check things out. you guys hear me? So we are in the barn now, so can I get a quick audio video check? All right, good. All right, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to try something. So hello, fish family. So we're going to go to the tubs first, and this may be a mistake. We may lose the feed, but we're going to give it a go and see how it works. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll come back up here and we'll talk about all the happenings in the barn, which are going to be kind of interesting. So, and we'll go through the guppies too, which I'm pretty excited about. So I'm going to very quickly we'll go outside. And we'll kind of take a look at the tubs real quick. So kind of go through this. This one is kind of I just put some like guppy grass in this one. Same with this one. I did put in some water hyacinth in here as well. This one has water hyacinth in it. And then I put this plant in here, which I have to remember the name of it. It is a Menahune bog lily. So got to keep the stick with that, or else I'll forget what it's called. This one here, I did plant a couple of lilies in there. And then these, I basically just put in some Rotella indica that I had in the fish room. I planted it in one of my tanks, but the fish like tore it out. So I just was like, okay, let's plant it outside and see how it does. And then this one just has duckweed in it. Or actually, this is the red root floater that I think is just duckweed, but we'll see. Because the roots don't look very red, unless I'm mistaken. And then I got to throw something in this one still. So that's kind of it with the tubs. Something keeps knocking over like my pumps. See, this is how it's supposed to look. But something is getting in here and messing with my pumps. So I don't know if it's like a cat or a raccoon or bird. I don't know. But so I actually put since you guys, I know there's some plant folks on here. So I'll take you guys over here. This is completely off topic, but I put mulch in this year for the first time in a while. And these hostas have just gone gangbusters. I mean, they've always been big, but they've gone absolutely gangbusters. I mean, this is my hand, and you can see, like, that is an absolutely massive plant. So I don't do anything to help that plant, but it just grows. So, and they've grown like bigger this year because I think I eliminated the competition to it. So we'll head back in here. Make sure we didn't lose connection. And we'll go from there. So, all right. So, all right. So, Glass Box Aquarius is here. Welcome. So, yes, that is I think that's a Japanese maple. So that was here with the house as well. And I think that's pretty big compared to a lot of the Japanese maples as well. So let's go ahead here and we'll go through the good, bad, and ugly with the fish room. So, all right, where do we start? Where do I want to start? I think we'll start over here. All right, so we'll start with this tank right here. So this is my Zoogeneticus tequila tank, and for whatever reason, I had a bunch of fish die off in here like a couple days ago. No reason, all the other fish are fine, but for whatever reason, a lot of the larger ones just seem to like just kick the bucket all at once. And I was actually going to give a bunch of females to a college student who was looking for them to do their graduate research project. And I had to kind of email her, and I was like, hey, yeah, they all kind of aren't here anymore. So I really can't give you any without like my colony kind of becoming a kind of a crap show. So I felt really bad about that actually. So there is good news in here too. The first couple of things are going to be kind of rough. The next one here, this was that crypt tank with all the Scyphia multipunctata, and one day all the crypts just went to like stems, like all the leaves fell off, and it just like, and this happened like overnight. Like it was good one day, and I actually filmed it for my talk, and then literally the next day, this thing completely went like nuclear and just died out. So I don't know if it just ran itself out of nutrients or what happened, but I think I'll be redoing that tank now. So that was very disappointed in that. I don't really know what happened. And then kind of the next tank here, I managed to make green water. So I took a lot of the plant life out of here, and I sold it at an auction. And I think I just sort of turned this into green soup at the moment. But I'm going to put these fish in a pond anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and water change it out, and we'll get that tank back to normal. So are we still good? It looks like we're still good, sort of. I think maybe we just had it's going slow. All right, I think that's on my end. So all right, hope you put in the chat if you guys can't see anything. No, we're doing okay. I think it's just my computer. So all right, now to some better news. Now that we've looked at all that, these Jardinus falcatus that I got about 3 weeks ago or so, they've already dropped fry. You can see the little fry in here. So you can see all the little fry. So these guys have done pretty happy with that. That was pretty quick. Speaking of that, they're cousins. The Jardinus metallicus have dropped even more fry. So there's literally a boat ton of them in here. So, like I said earlier, I was kind of looking for some fish to breed out quite nicely. Also, I could have a really big colony of a few things that I can kind of sell off of and give away or whatever. And these might be one of the ones because these have done really, really well. So, then I'll show you the guppies. All right, we'll show you the guppies. This first group, I bought 4. I actually really kind of went gangbusters with guppies. So this first one here is the multicolor, and they go under. So sorry for the glare on that, but got a trio of these. I'm back to the front here, buddy. So really nice fish. They were all 4 groups were really nice fish, and I got most of them fairly cheaply. Most of these were like $15, other than one group that I paid like $55 for. But So yeah, that's a really pretty fish. All right. Next one up here are these red bicolors. And the females look nice on these ones too. If you look at the the males with the nice big tails, and then you got these females that are really, and you got some nice color on the tails too. So really nice, good quality fish. Really happy to have these. So, and then down here are these blue-green bicolors down here. I think this is the one where one of the females is a lot nicer than the other one. But look at those. And then this is the one I paid a little bit more for. But these are the platinum white guppies. And these also came with fry, which I'll show you downstairs. I put those in, I separated those. But these were really pretty. And I was like, yeah, especially with the fry, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to take these ones home. So we'll see how these guys do long term. But like I said, I bought way more guppies than I thought. I figured I'd maybe come home with a pair or so. And then yeah, we've got here the just kind of an update on these. These are the Genesia Ansa. No fry yet. I did lose a couple, which kind of expected. I started out with 7. But the rest of these guys seem to be doing pretty good. So hopefully at some point here we'll see some fry. So yeah, so I paid $55 for the white ones. And I'll go show you the fry. Jody, if you're looking at the white ones, I'll show you the fry downstairs here real quick too. So these are the plecos that I pulled a while back. Of course, he left. That's nice of him. But you can see that one's kind of a smaller one, but you can see it's kind of blurry. But the fry down here, you see all the little fry up here, and there's some more on the bottom too. There was probably a good 15, 20 fry in the bag with the fish. So whoever bagged them bagged the fry separate too. So it was nice to have a really nice starting group of fry for those white ones. So yeah, so that fish that with the bad tail is a Xena tilapia Bathyphilus kekesi. Like I said, you can show him right here. He's been in here for probably 3 years now. Like I said, there was a group of 6 of them at one time, and I didn't call him. And he's like the lone survivor, so it's kind of interesting. Obviously, I'm not going to breed him or anything, but he just kind of hangs out in here. He doesn't eat the fry. And obviously, you can see the little Cyprochromis fry in here. So, the one thing I am curious about with that, the tank with the Skiffia and the crypts that just died overnight. I'm like, I wonder why that happened. I don't know a way to find that answer, but it literally overnight just went to crap, and I was kind of like, that was very shocking. So, I think I've shown you these before. These did drop. Again, this is the phosphorus colorite Guntherite from Belize. These probably you guys have seen, but there's actually smaller ones in here now too. They've been out here for a couple weeks now. So you can see, there's a good, I think 6 or 7 of these. So really happy to see kind of this colony start to take off too. Other than that, kind of other things I've been kind of working on. I didn't realize this when I took the pond out over here. There used to be, for those of you who don't know, there used to be a tub here. And so kind of, you can see kind of the marking here where I had the tub. But this actually made it easier for me to, I kind of left these tanks dormant. But it made it easier for me to kind of set these 2 20-gallons back up and use them. So I'm going to do that. It's kind of on my list of projects to do. Um, oh yeah, and the other fry update I almost forgot to show you is we're starting to see some fry now from um, these Neolamprologus multifasciatus. Um, so you can see some little babies kind of floating around. I hope. Yeah, there's one in the good. Yeah, you can see the little babies by the shells. So they've started breeding as well. And then I have these Cyprochromis leptosoma from Carege Island in here. I might end up moving these out. Um, you can see the male's really colored up nicely. So I might put them in a different 40 breeder. So um, wow. In this tank, I have some like random endlers and stuff that have kind of been in here. But if you look at this female like ready to pop. Like I might go pull her out and just see what comes out of her. Because like I've not, there've been endlers in there for years, and I've really not messed with whatever's been in there. So I think the goodie is to eat them, but and then we'll show you the trout goodie. It's a fun tank to look at. And the crypts have really taken off in this tank as well. It was kind of sporadic at first, but this has kind of worked out nicely. So I think that's kind of it. And speaking of guppies, these are kind of the bane of my existence, these Vienna guppies. I actually got these from Jimmy years and years ago when he lived in Ohio. And I've gotten very few spawns. So this is another one I'm going to probably have to pull out and see if I can get some females to drop again. So, um, so Steven P says he wants white guppies if I ship. Yeah, if I get enough of them, we can work something out for that for sure. I'm not the greatest shipper, but I'm sure we can make it work. So yeah, it's 8:55. You're welcome, Jeff, for the membership. No problem. So yeah, so let me put the camera down here, and we'll head back inside, and we'll kind of finish things up. We'll let you look at the green water, I guess. Kind of in between. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. All right, we're back, and amazingly, we made it to 8:57, and everything works. Awesome. I think this has been the first stream in a while we've not had technical difficulties. So Zen said, I too have Vienna guppies. that may be just added to my call tank because they don't breed enough. So yeah. So hey Branton. So yeah, so it's definitely, yeah, they've been a tough fish for me. Like I said, those two females are looking pretty rotund, so I may have to clean out the other 5-gallon tanks and kind of get those guys in some separate tanks to see how they do. So yeah, so it's 8:58. I don't know if Bentley's streaming tonight or not. I didn't look. So if he is, go check him out. I know Corey didn't stream tonight. Like I said, I've not been keeping up on streams very well recently. So yeah, so definitely have a great Memorial Day weekend. And I think we're going to go ahead and we'll end it here in just a second. But I am very happy tonight to not have any technical issues. It's very nice to stream and not have things freeze and things go crazy. So I think we've kind of figured things out. So hopefully that trend will continue into future streams, and we'll go ahead and he just scheduled. Okay. So yeah, so go ahead and check out Bentley. So with that, stay safe, stay fishy, and have a great rest of your week. And have a good Memorial Day weekend, and we'll go ahead and talk to you next Tuesday night. So have a great night.